opening tip. Russ, not tonight, he says. The thunderstorm back from down 25. What did you guys think of this?
I thought this band was relentless last night. That was something special to watch.
Well, you had to know that Russ was going to put his best foot forward. So, he's just amazing when he get his back pushed in the corner.
Sometimes that's, he barrels forward and it's not good.
Yeah.
That was good. That was so good. Paul George also good. We will get to all of that later in the show. Welcome to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols. We have some serious, serious talent up here. Double dose of Hall of Famers. Scottie Pippen, Tracy McGrady. There you go. A panel worthy of what that playoff night was like last night, let me tell you. So it is a testament to LeBron James and the power of the playoff game winner that even though we've seen him do this time and time again, it doesn't get old. And look, we still take plenty of other stuff about LeBron for granted, like his Teflon health or his maturity off the court. But there is something about a ball going through a hoop with the clock counting down, and not just a single game, but so much more on the line, that is flat out exhilarating. And while there are some in the media who've made a name for themselves trying to claim otherwise, the fact is LeBron has been doing this for a long time. Allow me to take you back all the way to 2006, Game 3 versus the Wizards. Cavs were down by 1 here, and LeBron does this.
James has Daniels, can go up over him if you want. Fakes right, goes left, bends it over Ruffin. He got it to go!
Yep, but oh no, LeBron not done torturing Washington in that series. In Game 5, the Cavs were down by 1 again. And again, well, listen.
Foul James. LeBron to the hoop for the win. He got it. It's over. The Cavaliers have won it. You can book this one to the Cavaliers.
And then in 2007, well, you remember this game, right? When the Cavs were trying to get past the immovable object that was the Detroit Pistons. LeBron scored 29 of Cleveland's final 30 points, capped off by, of course, the game winner in overtime. I remember standing about 30 feet from him when he hit that shot, and what was amazing was that he barely reacted to it. He was almost transfixed by the zone he was in, but trust me, everyone else was yelling plenty. Fast forward to 2009, the conference finals against the Magic. The Cavs were down by 2 in this one with only 1 second left on the clock, and it felt pretty certain that the Cavaliers would board the plane to Orlando in an 0-2 hole in the series. And yet, LeBron James.
Lewis gets it to LeBron for 3 for the win. Yes! LeBron James at the buzzer as the Cavaliers have pulled it out to tie the series, and what a miraculous shot by James!
Stan Van's face, right? Amazing. And he would keep doing it. Here he is in 2013, again in the Eastern Conference Finals, again when his team was down on the scoreboard, this time in overtime, and here he comes.
Battier gets it in. Here's James on the drive for the win!
More recently, we have the great Chicago Bulls incident of 2015. I know Scottie Pippen here knows what I'm talking about, because that is the game when then-coach David Blatt tried to take a timeout he didn't have. And then, with the game on the line in the final seconds, Blatt tried to draw up a play in the huddle for someone else. LeBron would later announce in the press conference, quote, "I scratched it," and apparently for good reason, because this is what he did instead.
1.5 remaining. James for the win. It's gone. LeBron James at the buzzer stuns the Chicago Bulls, and the series is tied at 2 games apiece.
Which leads us to last night. There had already been 2 controversial plays in the game's final 30 seconds, each one leaving each fan base fuming. But with less than 3 seconds to go, LeBron rendered it all moot by doing this.
Cleveland triggers in. James, 2 seconds, 1 second for the win. LeBron James delivers. That's a winner in Cleveland.
Poor Miles Turner, by the way. That face is going to live on the internet forever. And if that shot is suddenly giving you deja vu, it's because, yes, it is the same shot, basically, that you just saw from the Orlando series. Pretty much the same spot, which is, I don't know, pretty cool. Also, there is this little fun fact. That shot from last night, it did not just put the Cavs in control of the series or allow an entire city a sigh of relief as it puts off the LeBron free agency discussion for a little while longer. It moved LeBron past Michael Jordan for postseason go-ahead shots in a game's final 5 seconds. LeBron has now shot more of those and at a higher shooting percentage than MJ. It's almost like he's, well, clutch or something. No wonder it doesn't get old. So, Tracy, before he hit that shot last night, he had missed his previous 3 shots.
Correct.
He had gone 0 for 8 on 3-pointers in games 4 and 5. So I know you expected him to take that shot. It was going to go to LeBron. Did you expect him to make that shot?
I expected him to make the shot.
You did.
Reason being, let me take you back. I was upset at LeBron. The previous play, he drove the ball to the basket, got under the basket, and was looking to pass this ball, Pip, right here. Look, this is game-winning shot.
Exactly.
He's looking to pass the ball to who? JR in the corner, who is 0 for 8 on the night. Like, why are you looking to pass this ball to JR? So I'm like, yo, you got another opportunity to really make up for that mistake. And he did just that. So, yeah, I expected LeBron to make the shot. And I mean, that's an easy shot for him. For a right-hand, no, listen. For a right-hander dribbling the ball left for a pull-up, that's what we're most comfortable with. And that looked easy to him.
It did, and I thought he got good spacing, but I felt like he was due. I felt like throughout the game he really tortured Indiana's defense by taking the ball to the basket, getting a lot of fouls, getting to the free throw line. So he was in rhythm to shoot the ball, even though he didn't shoot the ball a lot throughout the game. And in that shot, I mean,
run this one more time. There's no pressure
that he needed.
Danny, please run this one more time and let the people see this.
By the way,
there's
Indiana
no
had
pressure.
a foul to give on this.
I know they had a foul to give.
I didn't feel like that they had pressure on the ball.
He didn't touch LeBron not one time on a game-winning shot. That is an easy shot.
Well, this Indiana team, look, they are scrappy. They are overachievers. They have done things that nobody outside of Indianapolis probably thought they would be able to do this year, and it's a great credit to them. All of those things can be true, and them not being the most experienced, most talented team in the playoffs. This is kind of what you would expect from them. They've made sort of beginner's mistakes throughout this series, and it is why Cleveland is still favored to win, even though they are not the strongest team either.
That's the one thing. You shouldn't have let LeBron touch the ball right there at the end of the game.
And if you are, I mean, please touch him. Don't be scared of him. Apply pressure.
Well, you mentioned where that out of bounds, but I want to go back to the events leading up to LeBron's game winner. Because first, this is a play that Tracy was talking about. The Cavs had the ball, and it's ruled out of bounds off LeBron. But in the replay, yeah, you can see Thaddeus is the one who hits it last. Now, it does hit LeBron's arm, but only after it's out of bounds.
How you don't read? So they can't review that?
They can. So that one, so we're showing the block here. Well, I'll give you both the reviews there. Here's the block, which Victor Oladipo says is a goaltend. They didn't review that. And I'll get to Victor's comments in a minute, but just to tell you how the rules work. The first play, they could have reviewed because there was a whistle. And when there's a whistle, you can review it. But they chose not to, and I don't know how much the Cavs argued that they should have or shouldn't have. The block that you just saw could not be reviewed because nobody on the floor, none of the officials, thought it was a goaltend. So once someone whistles, if there's disagreement, then it gets elevated to a review, right? If the two officials disagree, that's why you go to the tape.
So
but on
even
the floor,
if a player disagrees or a player complains,
no, player complains,
or a coach,
coach. No, because there's no whistle, because none of the officials whistled it as a goaltend, there's no capacity for review.
That.
Well, it's something that it's a balance for the NBA though, because if everything becomes reviewable, then we're complaining about the end of games too.
It is.
So,
well, I mean, we're talking about the final seconds of the game.
I know, and a playoff game too, right? So I don't know. Here's what Victor Oladipo said about the goaltend or the block or whichever city you're from. You can decide what it's called, but this is what he had to say about it.
I tried to shoot a layup, it hit the backboard, then he blocked it. There's replays I guess you guys can see. I guess it's a tough play at the time for him, but it was a goaltend. I mean, it's hard to even speak on it. It just sucks, honestly.
How do you guys feel? Scotty, what do you think?
You know, I feel bad for him because it was a goaltend, and true enough, but it was a weak shot. I felt like he probably went with the weakest shot he could have attempted against LeBron. We've seen LeBron do this numerous of times, allow guys to get ahead, put the ball up near the glass, and he pinned it. I felt like he had a step on LeBron where he could have went for the dunk, but I wasn't in the heat of the moment, so I can't, attest to what he was feeling. But I felt like when you get a step on LeBron, you have to attack the rim.
Right.
He's not going to allow you to lay the ball up on the glass.
Okay, you get 2 points. You're up 2. LeBron still hit the game-winning shot.
People in Indiana will argue with you it would change the sort of geometry of what the Cavs would go for. Would they go for 2 just to tie it up instead of going for that 3 and taking the risk and knowing that, hey, it could always go into overtime the way the game was set up. But when you do one of those, if then, well, then you have to go back to the play right before it with the wrong out of bounds call.
They missed the call on Cleveland. They missed the call on them. So what? It's a wash.
Right, I don't know. I'm curious.
The execution
Maybe
has to be
show
better.
the block one more time, though, or the goaltend or whatever it is. I want you guys to look at this shot. Are you sure it's going in if LeBron doesn't touch it?
Doesn't matter.
I'm not sure because the ball is hitting the backboard below the rim.
Right.
He got English
It doesn't.
though.
But
he has English on it.
I don't know, though. The way it's
you really have to let it play out.
I'm not sure it's above the rim enough to,
Yeah,
he has English
It's just
on it.
interesting to look at. But as you said, Trace, it went the way it went. It happened the way it happened. He hit the shot he hit. Now the Cavs are going back to Indianapolis up a game and ready to close out the series if they can. Game 6 is on Friday night right here on ESPN. Indiana has been so scrappy. They have come back in every game they've been behind on. Trace, do you think they're going to force a Game 7?
I do think they're going to force a Game 7. And guess why I think that? It's what we've been talking about. How many points LeBron James had last night?
44?
44. Played a lot of minutes.
Yep.
It's taken heroic effort from King James for these guys to win. I think he's going to be a little tired Friday night. I think it's going to catch up with him. He's really getting no help from his other guys. He has to do so much for these guys just to be in the game. I think it's going to catch up with him in Game 6. Listen, you can't go into Game 6. I know it's a closeout game. But if you go into Game 6 and exert all your energy in this game and don't have nothing left for Game 7,
so they're going to lose the
problem.
I don't see that. I think the way that he set them up last night, taking the ball to the basket, that the Indiana Pacers are going to be so focused on stopping LeBron James that I think the rest of the guys are going to have big games. I mean, at some point, they're going to have to earn those new suits. So
That's amazing.
hopefully it's in this game.
I mean, it's the drive and kick
road.
game that makes that team, the way it's set up, the way it's constructed, the most dangerous, right? He drives to the basket, he either gets it, he gets to the basket, or kicks it out to all these shooters. The floor is spaced, and they're supposed to knock them down. They were not knocking them down.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying the role players are supposed to play well at home. They're not playing well at home.
True.
Well, it's pressure. In the regular season, yes, they do play well at home. But playoff time, your role players tend to play better on the road. Less pressure at home from your own home fans. So I expect his supporting cast to step up. Again, the suits are looking nice.
I don't know if they'll wear one for game. We'll see. We'll wear one for Game 6. We got to look at Vic Oladipo, too, because he's struggled in the last couple games of this series. But looking back further, his performance has declined by the game in this series, and I would credit that less to Vic and more giving credit to the defense, right, Mr. Defense?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I think he realized that the Cavs are playing him differently. They're sending double teams at him, so he's not accustomed to these type of games. And in the playoffs, you have to adjust from game to game, and he has not adjusted. He has to be more of a team player. He has to look more for his teammates and try to be more of a facilitator, a lot like how LeBron plays, and not worry about his scoring falling, because at the end, it's all about you winning the game. It's not about your
real quick, it just, when a guy shows you that he can beat you himself in terms of his offensive ability, you got to put some eyes on him, and Cleveland has made adjustments to put eyes on him, and he's struggling with that.
Interesting. It's going to get juicy. I mean, it's already juicy. Come on. Coming up, do the guys expect to see Steph Curry in Game 1 against the Pelicans? Because Bob Myers, the GM, just went on the radio today and said, not inconceivable. But first, here's our distant replay. This date, 1996. I don't know, Tracy, do you recognize this guy? So I don't know who's
Gotta be Pip.
is. Oh, look.
Oh,
That's the basket with certainty, right?
Yeah.
We like to have seen the girl
That's like you hung up there.
That's exactly what Oladipo should have done. But he was in front of the basket.
Poor Chris Gatling.
Doing that like that, man.
You got to attack the rim.
Apparently,
Especially against the shot block.
right?
Yeah.
There you
You
go.
don't have those
T-Mac,
hands
no.
like you, man. You got them big hands to palm that ball like that.
The Jump is brought to you by Synergy Gasoline from Exxon and Mobil.